Hello everyone, it's me, Madison the Sidereal Maven, your favorite astrologer and tarot reader, and today we're going to be doing a pick a card reading all about what you can expect this summer. It's called Summer Salutations, and a salutation is basically a greeting, a hello, an exuberant, joyful hello. So this reading is going to be all about what you're going to be saying hello to this summer in a great, joyous, beautiful way. And we have 3 piles here today. If you are unaware of how a pick a card reading works, basically you're going to want to pick one of these 3 piles based on whichever one you feel drawn to in the moment. And it is totally okay if you feel drawn to more than one tarot reading. Feel free to watch multiple of them if you want. There may be a message for you in more than one of these readings. And if you get to a point where you're like, I don't really feel drawn to any of these readings, that's okay. Feel free to go ahead and watch a different video. Okay? So for the card selection, we have these little stickers. For pile 1, we have this sun and moon giving each other a cute little hug, maybe a little kiss. For pile 2, we have this anti-social butterfly sticker. It's very sparkly. And for pile 3, we have this Can I Be Frankenstein, which is perfect for Summerween if you are one of those Halloween in the middle of summer girlies. All right, so if you're still not sure which one you would like to pick, go ahead and give this video a pause, give yourself some time to think about it, and with that, let's get started. Great, hello there pile 1. Thank you for picking. You've picked the pretty little sun and moon besties. Put this over here. I have quite a few cards for you. Let's see. We have the cave. We have joy and delight. We have inspiration and courage. We have be your best self always. Ideal course of action. 3 tarot cards. Temperance. Two of Swords. Seven of Swords. Okay. I'm already kind of immediately getting the feeling that you are overthinking potentially everything, but especially if there is some sort of work project you have going on, some sort of artistic project, or there is like a very specific goal that you are trying to accomplish that you are overthinking to death, and you're starting to feel very frustrated and like you are maybe like hitting a wall over and over again. So with this card, the Cave, this card is all about kind of retreating into a self-isolated space. So this kind of reminds me of like the 12th house in astrology. You may currently have planets transiting your 12th house. You may be in a 12th house perfection year. The ruler of your 12th house may be activated by a current transit. And there is this feeling of almost wanting to mine your subconscious for inspiration, to intuitively pick a path forward. But the more you try to force yourself to come up with this answer, the more confused you feel about what is the right path. Or you may be someone who you feel like you know what the correct path is, or at least you know what your destination is, but the path to get there is frustrating you. And you may be like looking to your dreams for answers. You may be someone who is watching a lot of card reading videos. Maybe you have your own cards at home and you are trying to pull your own cards. But as a tarot reader, I can tell you that even as a professional tarot reader, if you're reading for yourself, it is way more difficult than reading for other people. It's very easy to look at someone else in their cards and be like, ah, I see. This is what's wrong. This is what's going on. But when you are in your 12th house trying to read yourself, there's this myopicness that can kind of keep you from seeing the whole picture. And so this is a time in which you're really wanting to remove outside influences and almost disregard other people's opinions and expectations and advice, because you feel like the answer is inside you somewhere, but it's just not coming forth. And so I see you spending a lot of time alone, trying to sit with yourself and understand how to get where you're trying to go and how to manifest this goal. And now I kind of want to focus on the tarot cards. So the first one is Temperance, which I recently, last week, posted on my Patreon a deep dive all into the Temperance card. So if you're confused by this card and you want to learn more about it, I highly recommend signing up for my Patreon and looking at the Tarot Explored series. I just did a deep dive, a Tarot Explored deep dive on Temperance. And so basically the message of the Temperance card is that you need to go back to the beginning. Go back to the water from which you came. When you think about rivers, they have a source. There is a source to this river, and the river can kind of represent your life path. And you have hit some sort of blockage in your river and you're like trying to move forward, but it feels like there's something in the way. Or maybe the water is murky, you can't quite see where you're going. And this confusion can be solved by going back to the source of the river. And so when it comes to whatever goal you're trying to achieve or whatever you're trying to bring into fruition, the more you try to push forward, the more stuck you become, which is kind of being represented by this Two of Swords, right? This is like indecision. And it's not knowing which path to take. It's uncertainty. It's a stalemate. It's feeling like you don't have enough information to go forward. You don't feel certain of either path, certain enough to choose. The Seven of Swords is kind of like, almost like you're crossing yourself. Like the problem isn't necessarily external, but it's like internal inside your mind. Like the problem is your perceptions and the way that you're perceiving the issue and the way that you're perceiving the way it should be solved. Like you may think I need to take path A or path B, But there is actually like some kind of third secret option that you are just completely overlooking because your eyes are closed to it. So you need to bring yourself back into balance, mentally and emotionally, in order to move forward, which is why you're kind of being drawn into this cave, right? This isolated place where you're not willing to listen to advice, because you do need to go back to the water, back to the source of your river. Go back to the reason you started this journey in the first place. Why are you doing this? Why are you trying to accomplish this? What circumstances in your life, what desires and needs and feelings have led you to begin this in the first place? Because you've gotten kind of carried away. Think about this fish like in the fishbowl. Pretend you are still in the fishbowl and you're going in circles and circles and circles and wondering like, why can't I get where I'm trying to go? You need to exit your fishbowl and go back from where you came from. Go back to your original reason. Remember what you were here for, the reason you started this. And I think that will provide a lot of clarity for you. And I think also, if you are someone who feels very like emotionally dysregulated right now, you may need to solve that emotional dysregulation before you can move forward. So I think this can look really different for a lot of different people, but the main thing that I think you need is to focus on something that makes you happy. Like, you're putting so much pressure on yourself. So much heavy weight is sitting on you to accomplish this, to do it faster, to do it better, to have provided something or to prove yourself. And the more that you push, the more you end up like this. As you can see with this little kitty cat, the mice are kind of stealing his snacks. You know, you're so stressed out and burnt out that you're falling asleep and the mice are stealing your snacks. And really what you need is to calm down. Okay? You need to take a day and just enjoy yourself. Find something fun. Find something that feels good. And if it's been a long time since you experienced joy that doesn't have a purpose or a meaning behind it, then you may find this kind of difficult. But it may help you, again, to go back to the source, go back to your childhood, and think about what made you happy as a kid. You know, perhaps there was like a certain TV show, and every time it came on the TV, you would dance in front of the TV and sing the theme song, and it would make you feel happy. Maybe watching that TV show, again, would make you feel better. Maybe you need to dance. Maybe you need to sing. For some of you, it could be drawing or painting. Or perhaps you are someone who is really into Legos and Lincoln Logs and building stuff. Find something that you can do to ignite that sort of joy that has no goal behind it. You need to let go of the goal for a moment and just be. And if you have like any pets, taking some time to play with them and focus on that, I think would help a lot, because animals don't have a purpose behind playing. They just enjoy it. They just live in the moment. And so if you have animals in your life, spending some time with them and playing games with them, I think would really help you just be present in the moment and relax. And I think you will find that once you are in these moments of play and relaxation, and okay, this is like a funny message, but for some of you, it could just be like taking a bath. Like if you were someone who really enjoyed playing with like different toys in the bath as a kid, like live your best life, girl, okay? Find something silly and fun to do. Go swimming. And you'll find that like in these silly moments, that's when you feel inspired. That is when that magical inspiration is going to come to you. And any sort of like creative person can tell you that like when you are feeling really creatively blocked, the answer isn't to sit in front of your computer and force yourself to have an idea. The answer is to go do something else for a while that makes you feel good, that makes you feel happy. And that is when the idea just kind of floats into your mind like a little butterfly. And you will feel so frustrated once you realize this, that trying harder doesn't make it easier and it doesn't make it better. It actually just makes you stuck. But there is a way that sometimes your best ideas come when you are folding laundry, or when you are washing dishes, or walking your dog, and doing these simple, mindless tasks throughout the day. Like that is where truly creative people get their best inspiration. So again, if you're feeling really stuck and you're feeling really blocked, it's because you have this perception in your mind that if I just do more and try harder, that will result in what I want. But it's not working because you need to relax. And a lot of this frustration you're feeling, I think, is affecting your relationships in a not so positive way. And it is affecting your relationship to yourself in a not so positive way. It's almost like you won't allow yourself to put the goal down for even a moment. Even when you are relaxing, you are mentally working through the problem over and over and over again. You are overthinking it. You are overanalyzing it to death. It is making you feel so frustrated and so irritated that even when you try to have these happy moments, you're not present in them. And here's the tea. If you are not present in this happy, joyful, playful experience, it's not going to rejuvenate you. It's not going to heal you. It's not going to make you feel better. Instead, you are mentally overthinking. And if you are mentally in your cave and not paying attention to your friends and your family or yourself, then you're not being your best self. It's kind of like say you have a day job, okay? And you're working all day at this day job, and then you come home and you collapse, and instead of making yourself dinner and taking a shower and keeping up with your laundry, you just go to bed. Or maybe you scroll on your phone for hours and then you collapse into sleep, and then you wake up and you do it again. And by the end of the week, you feel like crap because you're not eating, you're not sleeping, your clothes are dirty, the laundry's piling up, it's making you feel overwhelmed every time you look at it. You can't be your best self if you don't set yourself up for success. And as much as you want to avoid the chores and avoid the mundane tasks of existing, like that is what's keeping you stuck. That is the false belief that you hold is that if you just work, you will eventually succeed and you will eventually get where you're trying to go, but it's not working because you're not preparing yourself for this outcome. You're neglecting yourself. And the more that you neglect yourself, even just with your own upkeep and care of yourself, that also causes you to neglect the other people in your life, like your pets or your friends or your family or even your work relationships. Like, you're not giving them the time and the attention that they need because you're not giving yourself the time and the attention that you need. And that's why you don't feel inspired, if that makes sense. So I think what you really need is, again, to find some sort of play that feels good to you, that has no purpose, no specific goal that you're trying to achieve. And just allow yourself to enjoy that thing. And I understand for some people it can be difficult to get a day off, to make time for these sorts of things. But even if you are simply dancing as you go about your day, singing as you go about your day, you know, having that extra special coffee or whatever it is, like, it doesn't need to be a 3 to 5 day vacation, okay? It just needs to be a small thing. And I want you to take that small thing and I want you to magnify it. And I want you to do that multiple times a day, every day. Where when you get dressed in the morning, put on that special top or that special dress or that special piece of jewelry that makes you feel pretty and nice. You know, get the extra cream in your coffee. Take the long way. Buy the flowers. Stop and play with your pets just a little bit longer than you normally would. Just pet them a little bit longer. Just spend a little bit longer in your conversations. And I think maybe you need a hug. If no one has told you lately, you are good enough. And all the effort that you are putting in is getting you somewhere. You're not there yet. It's not going as quickly as you want it to. But that's okay. You're still getting there. And you're good enough. And you're beautiful. And you're kind. And you deserve to be happy. You deserve a hug that fills you up, that makes you feel loved, that makes you feel seen and valued and cherished. And sometimes in order to get that physical affection that you want, you kind of have to give it first. Stop waiting for someone to notice that you need it and just ask. And so our last card here is Ideal Course of Action. I feel like this is pretty straightforward, but basically the message here is that you need to stop overthinking everything. Stop wondering about the paths that you could have taken but didn't. Stop romanticizing the lives that you wish you were living but are not. And focus on the life that you are living. Focus on the path you are already on. And ask yourself, like, how can I invest in my self-care so that when I'm ready to take my next steps, I feel good about doing it? And if you're someone who needs a plan, make a plan. But do it, make a plan to enjoy yourself every day. Make a plan to give yourself space to feel inspired. Make a plan to honor your childhood self and what they want and what they need. And make a plan to prioritize your emotional regulation. And I think once you realize that by focusing on making yourself physically physically and emotionally as healthy and positive as you can be, that this plan just falls into place easily. You don't need to try so hard. You need to take care of yourself. So that's what I got for you, pile 1. I hope it made sense. I hope that you like it. I hope that you can go forward being kinder to yourself, and when you are kinder to yourself, it will be easier for you to be kinder to the people around you. Okay? So that being said, I have my Tarot Explored Temperance Exploration on my Patreon. I also post weekly tarot card readings. They're called my weekly love letters, where I talk about the astrology of the week as well as a card pull. I also post a new and full moon reading every 2 weeks. I also have a Patreon exclusive podcast called the Astrologer Diaries, where I talk about some of the behind the scenes stuff about what it's like to be an astrologer and tarot reader, and give my opinions on the industry and how it feels to have chosen this job and to live this life. So if that's something that you are interested in, if you want some in-depth astrology tutorials and lessons, I also have a lot of tarot tutorials if you want to learn tarot. So please check out my Patreon and give me a like, give me a comment, give me a subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye! You've picked the antisocial butterfly. Going to get your card set up. First we have the Vision. We have Strength and Resilience. We have Follow Your Dreams. Culmination of Vision. Expansion. We have Judgment. We have Four of Cups. And Strength. I think what I'm feeling for you is that you are motherfucking focused. You've got big dreams, you've got big goals, and you looked at the summer ahead of you, and instead of saying, I'm going on vacation, you said, I have got some shit to do, and I'm gonna do it, and ain't no one gonna stop me. And you know what? I love that for you. Sorry, my fabric is moving. So our main card here is the Vision. You have got some vision. You have something in your mind, and you are trying to bring it to fruition. You've got double visions. You're like Stevie Nicks saying the crystal visions. And like, you're so determined. You may feel like this isn't just something that you decided on recently. Instead, you are someone who feels like you were brought into the world for this specific purpose, to bring this specific vision to life. So I would definitely look at your sidereal birth chart, and I would be asking, are there any transits that are hitting your north node, hitting your part of fortune? If you have a stellium in your chart, I feel like that is probably being activated by a transit right now. And maybe also some 5th and 10th house energy is really coming through for you right now. There is something that you are in the process of creating. And you've been in the process of creating this for a long time, perhaps your entire life even. You feel like this is it. So whatever this is for you, I'm excited to know what it is. I want to know what it is. Okay. So to move to our tarot cards for a moment, the first one here is Judgment. And Judgment is about an awakening. It's about a calling. It's about that higher purpose that you've been brought into the world to do. And as you can kind of see, there is this constellation of a cat in the stars, and there's this other cat that is noticing it and feeling moved by it and changed by it. This is about like the acceptance of an ancestral calling. This is about moving into your purpose with confidence, knowing that it's not just something that you decided. It's something that feels maybe bigger than who you are. Something that will have a ripple effect, perhaps long after you leave this world. You're trying to create a legacy, and the weight of that sits upon you very heavily because it's something that you don't take lightly. You respect the ancestral wisdom. You respect the role that you play within your family, within the world, within your community. It's something you take very seriously. However, when you pair it with this Four of Cups is about apathy. It's about uncertainty. It's about feeling like you're not ready, feeling like you're stuck, feeling some sort of emotional blockage that is keeping you from taking the help that you need, or the advice that you need, or even just taking this next step. You're kind of focused on the wrong things here. And I think because you take this role so seriously, that you've become paralyzed by the possibility of failure, of being judged by other people, of letting people down, of disappointing them, or maybe even disappointing yourself. There is a lot of stress around this. It's almost like you know exactly what needs to happen next, but you're scared of how much your life will change after you take this next step. It's kind of like you know that once this vision comes forth, you can no longer pretend to be small. You can no longer pretend that you're just a little guy. You know, I'm just a baby. You can no longer pretend that like you are just a baby figuring it out. And you're scared of that responsibility. You're scared of messing up the legacy that you're trying to build. You're scared that people are going to look back and say, They almost had it all. And then, and so you're just kind of like afraid to pick it up. You're afraid to pick up the cup and drink from it and answer that calling. But the thing is like, what I'm hearing is that you're already there. You're already in the middle of this vision. You have already cultivated this. It's kind of like you planted these seeds so long ago that the harvest is imminent, and you're watching it ripen, and you're freaking out. You're freaking out for some reason. You're scared to drop the ball. You're scared that you're going to pick the fruit and find that it's rotten inside, but it's not. I want to offer you this, okay? If this is truly where you sit, and you truly believe that you are following a higher calling, that this is truly your purpose, that you are carrying on this legacy, trust that you were chosen for this with purpose and with intention and with care. This magical ancestral cat in the sky, he does not choose wrong. He does not pick the rotten fruit. He does not pick the wrong seeds. He does not lead you down the wrong path. You are chosen for whatever this thing is. And it's something only you can do. And the only way you can fail is by choosing not to pick the fruit that you planted and nurtured all of this time. Okay? It's going to require some strength, and it's going to require some courage to pick that fruit. And maybe that sounds crazy. Maybe you thought this whole time that plucking those grapes off the vine would be the easiest part. You thought that all of this waiting, all of this toiling and working and struggling, you thought that was the hard part, and now you're sitting here watching your fruit about to ripen, and you're like, how do I know when it's done? How do I know how to pick it when it's perfect? You didn't think that this would be so hard. But it's like, believing in yourself is the hardest part. Trusting that you have done the work and that you've done it well, and that your vision is coming together after all of this time. That is what is requiring your strength, is like your faith in yourself and your belief in yourself. That is what's being tested. It's not your skills. It's not the work you've put in. It's not any of that. I feel like you've already proven to yourself that you have what it takes. And the question now is, are you worthy of the reward? So we have strength and resilience. And the answer is yes. I think there may also be a fear around having to protect what you built. You're like, I spent all of this time, all of this energy building this. What if someone comes along and just snatches it from me? What if right before I'm about to pick my fruit, someone takes it? You have to be willing to defend it. That's just part of the game. No one would try to take your stuff if it wasn't good. No one wouldn't try to steal your vision if it didn't speak to them, if it wasn't beautiful, if it wasn't life-changing. It's kind of like making a movie or publishing a book. Whatever that thing is that you're trying to put out there, it's like, you know, you've made it when someone tries to pirate it and steal it. Stop fearing the opposition and take it as a sign that you were succeeding. Because if you were bad at this, if you sucked, if it wasn't for you, no one would care. Rise up to this challenge and see it as a sign of success. You also have follow your dreams. This is really saying that, like, whatever this vision is, Like, you want to take it to a level that has not been done before. You want to do it in a way that you've never seen anyone else do. And it makes you scared that that means you're doing it wrong. But that's actually kind of like what makes what you're doing so special. It doesn't need to look like anyone else's thing. And again, to go back to books, like all stories, there are only so many stories in the world, okay? And every book you read, every movie you watch, every story you come along is a version of those original few stories. And yet we love to read them and watch them and hear them over and over and over again in a million different ways. Whatever your presentation is, your voice, your vision, your idea, there's something unique about it that you need to lean into and to trust. The culmination of vision card is a card that shows up when what you are trying to achieve is already falling into place. This is not a card that says work harder, and this is not a card that says do more. Instead, this is a card that says you are already there. It is already unfolding around you. You are already in the middle of your success, and you don't need to do anything else. If there are last couple of steps you know that you need to take, then yes, of course. But the point is that don't doubt yourself now. Don't throw it away. Don't say, I gotta start over. Don't say, oh, I should have done this. I should have done that. You're exactly where you need to be. There is no big, gigantic, grand, magical thing that you are waiting on to make this happen. You are already here. And the expansion card is here to let you know that, like, as this vision unfolds and comes into fruition, and you're finally in a place to, like, let whatever this thing is be seen by other people, to be known and accepted and judged by others. Like, this is going to expand your social networks, like socially, professionally. You're going to be meeting more people. You're going to have more opportunities. You're going to have more ideas. You're going to have more collaborators. You may get to go to new places. You may get to try new things. Like, this path that you're on is opening a bunch of different doors. And all you have to do is choose which one you want to walk into. You don't need the keys. You're not searching for keys. You are not trying to break the door down. The doors are opening. And they're all going to open like that. And your job is not to force anything, but rather to decide which doors fit your vision, which doors resonate with you in the path that you're taking and what you're trying to create, and walk through them. Have the courage to walk through them. Have the courage to talk to people that you don't know, to take chances, to try new things. Because the world is really opening up for you right now. And you kind of have all the power here. I think maybe the thing holding you back is you think people don't like you. You think once people get to know you, for real, once they see past the Instagram page, once they see past the hi, hello, and get to know you, they're not gonna like you anymore. And I think maybe you picked this card because maybe you take a little bit of pride in being antisocial and keeping to yourself, because this is what allows you to know what your vision is, to pursue it in your dreams with all of the strength and resilience and the drive and the ambition. But my question for you is, what do you think happens once you get there? Do you think you will continue to be alone? Because I feel like that's not what you want. It's not what you need. You need to open up your heart and your mind to collaboration and opportunities and networking. That may be the thing that gets you that final step. Maybe it's about meeting the right person, having the right conversation. And the thing about this is, like, when it does happen, it feels very serendipitous. Okay? There's no forcing connection. When you click with someone, you click. But you will not click with anyone if you don't put yourself out there, if you're not willing to be judged. Let people dislike you. Let them be disappointed in you. But you have to like yourself and believe in yourself. And don't ever be disappointed in your vision, in yourself. That's their problem. It's not yours. So, one last thing I want to say is that for some of you, you may have identified as an introvert your entire life. But one day, as you put this out here, as it comes into fruition, as it becomes a physical thing that you can share with the world, and you take that step to share it, and you attract new people into your life, you may come to realize that you're not really an introvert at all. You're just around the wrong people for your whole life because they couldn't find you, because you hadn't shared your vision yet. And once you find those people and they make you feel seen, and they make you feel heard, they make you feel strong and confident and successful, you'll be like, maybe I am a social butterfly. I just need the right people on my side. So I think there's a lot of love and support waiting for you on the other side of this. And that's pretty much all I got for you, Pile 2. I just want to go ahead and let you know that I do have a Patreon page. Every week I post a love letter from the stars, where I give you a breakdown of the astrology of the week as well as a card reading. I post new and full moon readings every 2 weeks. And I also have an Astrologer Diaries podcast where I talk about what it's like to be an astrologer and tarot reader and how it feels to navigate the industry and my journey to becoming this sidereal maven. So if that's something that interests you, please check it out. Give me a like, give me a comment, give me a subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi, hello. If you selected Pile 3, then this is your reading. This is your little Frankenstein. You can put him up here. I want to start with Althea. And then we have Affirmation for Growth. We have Plant the Seeds. We have Pause. Illumination. Knight of Pentacles. Lots of green. Five of Swords. The Empress. Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay. I see. I see. So, my first thoughts here are that, well, let's start with this. Oops. With Althea, what you see here is a lot of black and white. This is a yes and a no, an up, a down, a right and a wrong. There is something you are moving towards, something you are trying to build for yourself. It feels like your main concern is security. And this could be emotional security, it could be financial security, it could be security within yourself, security for your family, for your business. There is a foundation here that you're trying to lay down. And you have very strict rules about what you want this foundation to look like. You are not willing to use just any materials. You want both the best of the best and what feels right for you specifically. And I think this is causing you a lot of stress because you are overthinking every single step to the point to where it feels like you are barely moving at all. And I feel like your scales just keep tipping. The scales are tipping and they never come to this sort of evenness that you want. I really have to wonder, like, if you have Sidereal Libra in your chart, if you have Sidereal Cancer, Capricorn, or Aries, because Jupiter entered Sidereal Cancer at the beginning of June, and we're going through a bit of a metamorphosis in our Cancer house right now. And wherever that sits in your chart, you are trying very hard to regulate and build. But there is some dysregulation here that needs to be solved first. So, to move on to your tarot cards, first we have the Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight of Pentacles is all about that slow build, that slow journey. As you can see, our knight is riding a goat. And this is not a fast moving goat. You know, he is taking his time, making sure that he's fed and well resourced. He's enjoying the view, but he takes his time because he knows where he's going. He knows that he's going to get there eventually. He knows that in order to build what you're trying to build, you have to make sure that every step is done correctly. There is a note here about precision. You want to be precise. You want to be accurate. You want to be correct. And with that could maybe come a sense of perfectionism that is overwhelming you, especially if you feel like the high standards and expectations you have, both for yourself and this goal, may be impossible for you to achieve, or they may just feel impossible. It may feel like there are 10 million steps between you and this thing. And how are you ever going to get there if you spend all of this time on every single small step? And also with the Knight of Pentacles, there can be this almost Like, the word I'm hearing is like greed. There's like a greediness to this, where you are trying to bite off more than you can chew. And that isn't a judgment of you, okay? I'm not calling you greedy, but there is this feeling of, I feel like I need more than I have. And this insecurity is causing you to maybe reach for more than you can handle, to put more on your plate than you are capable of eating. And I don't know, sometimes I do this thing at restaurants where I will order a really big meal that I know I can't finish, knowing that I can take the other half home and eat it for lunch the next day. I want to get 2 meals out of my 1 meal. There's this way that you are trying to maximize the profit, I guess, of every single thing that you're doing. And in your efforts to do so, it is like slowing you down. It is making you feel like, well, like this, like the 5 of Swords. Like, it doesn't matter which direction you go or which step you take. There is some sort of loss involved no matter which way you go. With the 5 of Swords, there is this feeling of like, I can go this way and upset this guy, or I can go this way and upset this guy, or I could go my own way and upset both of them. But no matter which direction you take, you can't avoid upsetting someone. You can't avoid disappointing someone or losing something, whether that be approval or validation or some sort of physical, tangible reward, or something, a social tie maybe. It feels like there is no right way. So we also have the Empress here. And the Empress can represent 2 different things. The Empress can represent the state of security and abundance and confidence that you are trying to achieve or embody. The Empress is someone who is well-resourced, who has more than enough to provide, not just for herself comfortably, but also for others, for dependents. You know, she's got it going on. She is all that in a bag of chips, okay? And this could be like the state that you're trying to achieve. But for some people who are watching this, I think this could also be someone in your life. Perhaps a mother figure, perhaps a boss, a friend, a community member, someone that you are asking for assistance, someone that you look up to, someone who is #goals. You know, this could be the person that perhaps you are upsetting her in some kind of way with the decisions that you are making or not making. Perhaps it feels like no matter which path you take, she ends up upset with you. Or perhaps it feels like she won't give you the assistance you need if you take the path that feels right for you. So there is this goal, but also this obstacle with the Empress of, I want to be in this state. Maybe I need help from someone in this state. But there's a lot of confusion about how to get there, how to achieve this. And I think you are looking for a way to achieve your Empress state without losing anything. And that is part of why it's taking you so long, is because you're like, I can't lose anything in the process. I only want to gain. I only want to gain. But the reality of being an Empress is that you have to lose a lot to gain a lot. And I want to use this metaphor of motherhood, of parenthood, because that is what is upon this card. So take it however it fits for you. But in order to become a parent, you have to sacrifice a lot. No one just wakes up with 3 happy kids and everything in the world to give them. You kind of have to build your garden for them to play in. You have to build up a level of abundance so that when these people arrive, you are ready to provide for them and yourself, and do so comfortably. You have to be willing to sacrifice so many things. Like if you're giving birth, you're sacrificing your health, your time, your energy. You're sacrificing maybe your hobbies. There's so many sacrifices that come with being a parent. And it's very easy to look at someone like the Empress and say, well, she's got it all. She's got it all. And I bet raising those little kittens is easy for her because she has everything. She's probably never struggled. But I want you to stop and think about how much she had to give up to be there, and how much she still sacrifices on a daily basis to make sure that her dependents are happy. She probably wants to go explore right now, and instead she's watching them play. You know, there is no just gain. You have to give up to achieve something. And I think you're at a point where you don't want to make any sort of sacrifices of your time, of your energy, of your resources. There's someone out here, someone who needs this message. One of you is saving your money, and you are saving and you are saving and you are saving and you are saving, but not once have you stopped to invest in this goal. It's kind of like, take this metaphor of like a YouTube channel, okay? Say you want to start a YouTube channel, and so you're saving all this money and saving all this money thinking, one day I'm going to quit my job and I'm just going to be a YouTuber. And this savings is going to sustain me through that transition. But you're not willing to buy a new camera. You're not willing to buy a microphone. You're not willing to decorate your space where you film. You're not willing to spend money on a new outfit so that you feel cute. You're not willing to go get a haircut. You know, you have to invest if you want to receive. The Empress has invested as much as she has sacrificed, she has invested. And there's something about how you are either unwilling to invest or you don't know where to invest. There is a internal conflict about which investment is going to be profitable, and a stalemate. Not investing at all. That's why you're feeling stuck. So now I want to come over here to pause, okay? You're putting the work in for this foundation. You are planning, you're strategizing, you are gathering intellect, intel, you are learning, you are educating yourself, you are gathering resources, you are making plans. But again, when I brought up this card earlier, I said there's something about your foundation that just isn't quite adding up. There's something you need to learn first that you haven't learned yet. You need to pause. You need to take a moment to consider what it is you really have. Because I'm not sure you understand how much you really have. I'm not sure you understand the best use of your resources. It's almost like you're looking at that savings account and you're saying, I don't have anything. And it's not true. You have more than you think you do. And it's not just about money. It's not just you have more money than you think, but you have more time than you think you do. You have more energy than you think you do. You have more social connections, social resources than you think you do, but you're not looking at them correctly. Instead, you are so stressed that you are completely missing the resources in front of you because you either don't view them as what they are, you don't think they are good enough, you don't think that you're worthy of those resources. Maybe it didn't occur to you to even ask for this help, to even ask for this assistance. It's like there's someone you know that has the information and you've never thought to ask them. It's also possible that maybe you have asked your Empress for help, and maybe in the past she's told you no. Perhaps she has asked you to jump through a couple hoops, meet a couple of expectations, and that's why you're kind of like this. Maybe you can't jump that far. Maybe you can't meet those expectations. But the point of this card overall is to simply just slow down. Take a couple days off of this foundation building and breathe for a moment and allow yourself to come to a new conclusion and a new perspective. And I think that is when you will get your answer. The illumination card has this full moon for a reason. And as I'm filming this, we are coming up on a full moon in Sidereal Sagittarius over the weekend. So there may be a way that during the full moon, after you take some time off of your work and your planning and just allow yourself to breathe, just allow your mind to think it over. During that time, you may meet someone or have a conversation or see some sort of synchronicity that confirms what you're thinking and confirms what you're feeling, or maybe shows you a new direction and a new perspective that allows you to feel confident moving forward in a new way. It really is saying take a breather. Take a minute and let your brain process what is happening. And during this time, I also want you to pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to the symbols that you see in your dreams. Pay attention to the symbols that you feel drawn to. And ask yourself if there is a message there. If there is something right in front of you that you're overlooking because you are so determined for the outcome to look a specific way. Because you think that everything is in black and white, but your answer is a specific shade of gray. And every time you look left to right, looking for black and white, you completely miss that shade of gray in the middle. So slow down. Slow down and really observe your life in a new way. Like, it's almost like if you were trying to draw something, okay? If you just try to draw something from memory, you may not do such a good job. But if you have a picture of that thing, or if you have it in front of you, and you take the time to really stare at it, to really observe each shape within the rose, and you draw just one little bit at a time, it becomes easier. It becomes easier to see it on the paper. And so to move over to this side, we have the affirmation for growth. And this is a card that shows up when you are already making positive moves in the right direction. And you may be feeling like nothing is growing. Nothing is growing. But I think what's really happening is that the roots are growing and the roots are expanding and moving out. And you are judging all of your progress based on how many leaves have sprouted out the top. And you don't even notice all the roots spreading because it's not visible. This is a period of time in your life in which your growth is underground. Your growth is not visible to other people. And you keep looking at your foundation of your house and thinking, well, there's no walls up yet. There's no rooms. I've gotten nowhere. Meanwhile, it takes a lot of time and energy just to clear the land, just to put the foundation down. And you can't have a strong house that lasts through the storms, that lasts several generations, unless you have those strong roots. So give yourself a minute to appreciate what you've already done, how far you've already come. Not just physically, but emotionally. Because what you're building requires intense emotional strength and endurance. And you have to prepare yourself mentally and emotionally. And that's what the root system is for, okay? And lastly, we have plant the seeds. Which really is to say is you're not done with the foundation. You still have more seeds to plant. You have more things to put into the ground, into the soil. You're not done planting. Stop expecting a harvest when you are still planting. Recognize where you're at. Like, can I be frank? This is saying, can I be honest? Can you be honest with yourself about where you are at in this process? Can you be honest with yourself about how long this is going to take in order to do it right? Can you be honest with yourself about all the progress you've already made and honor that? And if you really are seeking help, seeking assistance from an Empress in your life, then you have to be honest with her about what you have, what you don't have, what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do. So start by being honest with yourself, and it will become 10 times easier to be honest with others. All right? So that's what I got for you. Just want to go ahead and let you know that I have a Patreon by the wonderful name of Sidereal Maven, where I post weekly love letters where I discuss the astrology of the week along with a card reading. I post a new video on the new and full moon every month. I post a new video every Wednesday. And I'm also currently doing the Astrologer Diaries podcast, where I talk about what it's like to be an astrologer and a tarot reader, and what it's like to come into this sort of business, what it's like to navigate the industry. And I also teach tarot tutorials, astrology tutorials, all that sorts of stuff. I've got over 100 something posts that you can spend lots of time flipping through. So with that being said, I hope you like this. I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.